I am here in Big Sur, California. It is absolutely gorgeous, and actually these copper tubs, Jason and I took baths in last night at sunset, and it was heavenly. And I'm just so grateful for this moment in time. Speaking of vacations and retreats, I wanted to answer a question somebody just sent to me. She sent me an email saying, Veronica, I would love to know, why is it that you go away alone on vacation? So I went to Tulum earlier this year by myself for a week. I go on retreat a lot by myself. I do all kinds of things alone. What do you get from going away on vacation alone or on retreat by yourself? What do you get from that? Really good question. Just like a marriage or a really good friendship, in order to have a healthy relationship with other people, it's essential to have one-on-one time with those people. It's essential to actually hear them and be with them and support them in any way that we can, and vice versa. Why would that be any different for ourselves? One of the biggest takeaways I receive from time by myself is that I am unplugged from other people's needs, expectations, all the conditioning in our world. When we are out in the world with other people, whether we realize it or not, psychically, we are picking up on their thoughts, we are picking up on their energy, and so we are highly influenced by the people we spend time with. If we don't step away for a moment and actually recollect ourselves and breathe into ourselves to really find, what is my soul purpose? What is my soul mission? What am I here to do? Am I on track? Is my body at ease? Your body is the best device to measure your health and your well-being. Last year I went on retreat by myself. Jason and I usually go together, but last year I went alone to Leonard Jacobson's retreat. On that trip, I made a very clear decision that those 5 days were totally for me. Anything I wanted, I was going to give myself, and I was stepping out of the giver, out of the doer, out of the generous person that I am, and I went into flipping that generosity and letting myself receive generosity. So what I mean by that is, if somebody wanted to talk to me and I didn't want to, I literally had an in silence button and I didn't speak. If I wanted to sit wherever I wanted to sit by myself, I sat wherever I wanted to sit by myself. If I wanted to laugh with somebody and get a hug from somebody, I would go and give somebody a hug. Like, I followed my compass, I followed my own navigation system. It was so powerful. Obviously, I choose to live this way as much of the time as possible, and there was something about those 5 days, because I had such a specific intention going into the retreat, that I had some of the deepest experiences I've ever had. I would wake up in the morning, enjoy the redwoods on that property. I'd go into the room where everyone was meeting. I just sat, I listened to my teacher, I heard the shares, I was deeply present, which is the focus of the retreat. And I went to lunch, I followed my rhythm, I walked at the pace my body wanted to walk at, moment to moment, which changed every day. After the retreat each night, I'd retire to my space and I would, in the dark, sit in meditation, and then I would take essential oils and breathe them in, light a candle, brush my hair, tend to myself, just take care of myself without my mind being fixed on the next thing. I just immersed my mindset in the moment. And it was an absolute meeting of my own self. It was like coming into and submerging myself in my authentic self, in the truth of who I am, what I refer to as the diamond self. There was a moment at that retreat where there was a break and I wandered. There's this beautiful fountain. All the colors of the flowers and the smells and everything that was going on was so incredibly lucid and vibrant, high definition. And at one point, I was so deeply present, just laying there by the fountain. I laid flat out, like on this ledge, and there was this beautiful fountain. I was watching the bees and the butterflies, and I was like literally transcending this body. Everything was dissolving into light. It was a really magical moment, and I felt this presence, and I looked behind me, and there was this little girl with her mom looking at the fountain. But she was staring at me like fascinated. I believe that little ones are so deeply present that when they see someone else present, it's like, oh my God, you're here. Like, you're here. No one else is here. Our eyes locked for what seemed like an eternity. And it was the most beautiful moment in time where There was no little girl in front of me. There was no me. It was just absolute oneness. Those moments in time, they obviously don't last forever, but I find it is essential, because if your purpose in life is freedom, if your purpose in life is to be genuinely fulfilled, if your purpose in life is to be the embodiment of joy, purposeless joy, which is independent of outer circumstances, you just feel the joy of living, joie de vivre, right? The French say, like, the joy of living, the joy of life. If you want to be happy just because you exist, solitude is essential. Retreats are very helpful because you have somebody who's holding a very intentional space for you, and everyone at the retreat is supportive, and the environment is conducive to awakening, conducive to freedom, conducive to personal responsibility. So everyone's taking care of themselves and not taking it personally if you don't talk to them. I had several people I knew from YouTube at that retreat, and they're just powerhouses, you know, like I remember one amazing woman coming up to me and she's like, I really, really want to talk to you, but I see your in silence button. I just want to respect that. I just gave her a huge embrace and we had a beautiful moment. And I was able to honor myself every step of the way, to train ourselves into a reality where we're being honest and true to ourselves is what allows true relationship or relating to take place, because most of us are codependent. Most of us are so concerned with making sure the other is pleased that we forget who we are, and we lose ourselves and we get entangled in the process, and it can create a lot of resentment, a lot of addiction, a lot of frustration, because we don't know whose is whose and what is what. So to answer this question in short, the reason I go away by myself at least once a year, it's usually several times a year, is because it's my time to unplug from the conditioning, from the matrix. And it's my time to plug into myself, to recalibrate, realign, and rediscover who I am, what I need, and what my next steps are, what my vision is. As a really tangible takeaway that I get from going away as well is I unplug from technology completely. So what happens is when I return home, it helps to establish habits that are healthy. If you have certain habits that are taking you down, you can use a retreat to break out of those habits, especially with the support of the community and the person holding the retreat. If you're checking your phone first thing in the morning, that would be the number one habit I would work on shifting. So that's my answer to your question, beautiful angel. You know who you are. And if you are looking for an amazing retreat, come and join us for the Diamond Process Ojai retreat. It happens once a year. It's powerful. And if you're already registered, I cannot wait to see you there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already part of this glorious soul family, hit the subscribe button and I will see you in the next video.